Happy fall, friends! Excited to see you as we jump into our next lesson in our pumpkin unit. Last time we read Pumpkin, Pumpkin, and we made a timeline about what the major events were in our story. Jamie planted the pumpkin seed, the pumpkin grew and grew, he picked the pumpkin, and then he carved a jack-o'-lantern from the pumpkin. Now, we also got to see in our story how step by step the pumpkin grew. Do you remember how first Jamie planted the seed, and then that seed grew into a sprout, and that sprout grew into a plant. That plant grew a flower, and then that flower grew a pumpkin that got bigger and bigger and bigger until it was ready to pick. So we're going to sing a song real quick to summarize the pumpkin life cycle that we learned about. Then we're going to take an extra look at all the amazing animal appearances in our story, and we're going to write some sentences about them. But first, let's sing about how pumpkins grow and the steps we learned about in our story. Ready? Here we go. Do you know how pumpkins grow? How pumpkins grow? How pumpkins grow? Do you know how pumpkins grow in the pumpkin patch? First you plant the pumpkin seed, then it sprouts, oh yes indeed. First you plant the pumpkin seed, and then it sprouts. Then that plant grows from the sprout, and the flower comes out. Then a plant grows from the sprout, and a flower comes out. Then from the flower grows a pumpkin, grows a pumpkin, grows a pumpkin. Then from the flower grows a pumpkin, oh yes indeed. Do you know how pumpkins grow? How pumpkins grow? How pumpkins grow? Do you know how pumpkins grow in the pumpkin patch? All right, friends, thank you so much for reviewing those steps with me. Now, I wanted to take a special lesson to recognize all the amazing animals that appear in our story. You have to watch really closely to see them all. But if you look, there's some fun animals that appear. There's a tiny ladybug and a gopher and a butterfly and a rabbit. Do you see the rabbit? There it is. Do you see the animal in this picture? Yes, it's a frog, a toad on Jamie's head. There's another animal in this picture. Point to it if you see it. Oh, it's a mouse in its shoe. Oh my goodness, and look, some geese. So many animals, and they have such amazing special appearances in this book. So we are going to complete some sentences that I have started and fill them in with the correct animal. Now I have 6 choices: gopher, butterfly, toad, ladybug, mouse, and bunny. But we'll only be using 3 animals, 1, 2, 3, to complete our sentences. We'll have to read the sentence to determine which animal fits based on our story. Let's start with the first one. The blank was on Jamie's head. Let's look. The blank was on Jamie's head. I found the picture. What animal is on Jamie's head? Can you find it? If you said the toad, you're right. Let's read our sentence. The toad was on Jamie's head. All right, let's look at the next one. The blank was in Jamie's shoe. Do you remember? This was so silly. Oh, what animal is in Jamie's shoe? Can you find it? Yes, a mouse. The mouse was in Jamie's shoe. And our last sentence says the blank was on the pumpkin sprout. Now you remember a sprout is just the beginning growth of the pumpkin. So it's when it's really small. What is on the pumpkin sprout? If you said a ladybug, you are right. Let's put the ladybug in our sentence. The ladybug was on the pumpkin sprout. Friends, thank you so much for writing these sentences and reviewing our pumpkin book with me. I'm excited to learn more about pumpkins with you this week. Bye-bye.